For those of you that may not know me, I'm Danielle McCallie. I'm the director here for the East Brunswick Department on Aging, and I'd like to officially welcome you all to our memorial service this year. As you know, this has been an unprecedented year, filled with, unfortunately, a lot of loss for all of us. And typically, every year, we have a small memorial service led by our counselor here at the center. But this year, the staff got together and felt that we really should open it up and have something larger because we haven't had the opportunity to see a lot of you. Like I said, this has been a really challenging year for all of us, and the center doors, as you know, have been closed. But our team and our staff pulled together and worked very hard to continue to provide programs and services and support, even though we couldn't be together, person to person, face to face. And we, again, experienced a lot of loss, and we had to learn how to grieve differently. And we hope that we were able to do that for you, even from a distance, which is why it was so important for us to come together today and to share this time remembering people very special to us that we lost. As you know, I always say that you are an extended family. And I spend a lot more time with some of our registered members of the center than I even get to see my own family. And our staff have also gone through quite a bit personally as well. And it's been a tough year. So we wanted to make sure that we could all be together. And really, it's a celebration of life. Because each and every person that has come into our lives, we have learned something from, and we will never forget the memories that we shared. And we are so happy to have the opportunity to build new memories together for all of us. And you know what? Each and every person we remember here today, they will forever live in our hearts. And we will keep their memory alive. And so today, once again, is a celebration of life. And I want to thank every single person who is involved in making today possible. I'm not going to mention everyone. Everybody has programs for fear that I might leave someone out. But a big special thank you to our incredible staff here at the Department on Aging, because this is one heck of a team. So, thank you. So with that, again, I welcome you, and we are so happy to have our extended family back again. And if you do not know, the announcement was officially made yesterday that the center doors will officially be totally reopened as of July 1st. So, yeah. So like I said, we will get back into the swing of things of making some great memories together and taking those memories along with us of people that are no longer going to be with us here in our physical presence, but will forever be in our hearts and in our minds. So with that said, I would like to bring up our mayor.
First of all, I want to thank the staff again for putting this together, and I thank the Lord that we're actually able to finally get to a place where we could be with one another in person. That is a triumph of the spiritual and the science together to get us to this point. So I think we should all be very grateful. This past year has been challenging for all of us, and I was not immune from that myself. In last February, I lost my mother. Just a couple of weeks ago, I lost my father-in-law. And they bookended this pandemic. But the one thing that I'm really, really grateful for in all of that was that I actually had the ability to be comforted by family and friends. I had the ability to be with loved ones before they parted. And I had the ability to say goodbye. But after watching what's gone on the last 15 months with this pandemic, I feel blessed that I was able to have that level of dignity and closure. So beyond the pain of the loss, that's what COVID took away from most of you this past year. And for that, this entire community, the staff, the entire community of East Brunswick mourns your loss and offers this memorial service. I also feel sad that for each of us that lost someone dear to them, their parting is always going to be tied to a worldwide pandemic. And thus, we forget about the person and we concentrate more on the way it ended. Each person had a story. That story has a beginning and it has a middle, not just the end. So what we need to do is treasure the story. It's kind of like a book that you take out of the library that you treasure, that you want to read the stories over and over again. You learn from it. But we all know that ultimately, at the end of the day, that book needs to be returned to the library. But it's the stories, it's the lessons that you got out of that book. That's the gift. That's your memories. That nobody can ever take back from you. So may each of us, each of you, each of those souls that we lost rest in peace, and may we all benefit from their gift, which is their story.
At this time, I would like to bring up Paul, who's Adult Services Librarian. Paul is, again, a member of our extended family. Paul runs a book club and some other groups here at the center for us. And so we wanted him to be part of this today. And so he is going to recite a poem for us. So thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Danielle, Gail, and everybody here at the Senior Center. I'm looking forward to reopening and to becoming a regular face here again in person. Looking forward to it. The poem is called I'll Be There, author unknown. There was no time to say goodbye, but this I ask, please do not cry. Remember me as you think best. The happy time, forget the rest. Look for me, and I'll be there, and you will find me everywhere. In the gentle touch of breeze that cools the skin or swirls the leaves, in the scent and colors of flowers that gave me such happy hours. On sunny days, under sunny skies of blue, just think of me, and I'll be with you. In winter, when there's cloud or mist, the rain will give to you my kiss. As wood smoke lingers in the air, look for me, and I'll be there. Where seagulls cry above the sea, and surf rolls in so endlessly, among towering trees that soar above, in all these things that I once loved, look for me, and I'll be there. You'll feel my presence everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, for that beautiful poem. And I know that they will be there with us always. So at this time, we have put together a slideshow presentation. Some photos that we had available of some of our regular faces here at the center, and the names of those members that we have lost throughout the past 15 months. So without further ado, we will start the slideshow. certainly couldn't help shed a couple of tears, but I'm trying to put them aside because I'm a better person for knowing each and every one of these individuals. So, and as I said earlier, a little bit of them will forever live in us. And to the families that are here today, thank you for sharing your family with us. And I'm forever grateful, and I know the staff feel the same way, that we feel so honored and privileged that you allow us to become part of your families. And families may not always see eye to eye sometimes, and that's okay. But family matters. So, like I said, they'll always be with us. So at this time, I would like to invite up Reverend Karen Johnston.
I'd like to ask all of you to join me in a moment of silence as we hold in our hearts and in our minds those images, those names. They weren't images, they weren't just names, they were real people, beloved to you. So I will ring the chime once and we will hold the silence together, and then the chime will bring us to a close. I was so moved by the sighs and the reactions as images came through. My sense is that for some of you, it was recognition of someone you loved, someone you miss. And I couldn't help but hear that maybe there was some surprise. Oh, this beloved is gone. This one. And maybe it was first-time surprise, or it was being touched again. Because that is how grief is with us, human creatures. It comes at times we can expect, and it comes out of nowhere. I see such emotion here in the room, family and friends, and in the staff, who have been through so much, trying to be your best company and being stopped by the pandemic. All of us thwarted by being our best selves to our beloveds, thwarted, kept away, to keep them safe and to keep us safe. This is one of the most heartbreaking parts of this pandemic. This pandemic we are still in, trying to find our way out of. Right? There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and thank you, vaccinations. Thank you, that collaboration between spirituality and science that Mayor Brad referenced, right? That we have this possibility, and still here we are, finding our way, our masks on to protect ourselves and protect each other. Some say that as a result of this pandemic, we are experiencing a form of collective trauma. And I don't know if you are in that camp, but I am. Before I became a minister, I was a clinical social worker. I adopted 2 children out of foster care. I know what trauma is, and we are in the midst of it. We are emerging from a collective trauma of a shared experience, and we are just establishing our sense of safety and our sense of wholeness as an individuals and as a community. I say this to you not to scare you or upset you, but to offer validation for all of the strange feelings, confusions, irritabilities, edginesses, surprises, anxieties that you may be feeling rising up within you or observing rising up in people with whom you share a household, with whom you work. All of that alongside relief and new possibility that summer and the vaccines promise. So whether your loved one died from COVID-19 or just died in this plus year of pandemic, it has limited how we have been able to grieve, how we have carried the weight of our losses, how we are able to do that human dance with the absence of someone gone. And we have had to learn new ways to mourn, as Danielle said. This whole online memorial service thing. Not being able to hug or sneaking a hug and feeling very conflicted about it, worried about it. Not being able to sit Shiva with our whole communities. Not being able to make and share food, which every culture has as our way of helping someone move through grief. And that constant worry. Would we get sick? Would we make someone else sick? It was a mind-bending, heart-breaking year, and it is important for us to name this and acknowledge it, and not just say it's in the past, because it is with us still. The year was hard enough, and then you lost these beloveds, your beloveds, and more heartbreak with that. So as we are emerging from this pandemic, we must recognize that we are not ever going back to normal, that we are going to be going forward to a new way of being on our own and in community. And I want to share with you an image that a colleague of mine came up with. Her name is Sharon Wiley. And she suggests that the way we as a society are coming out of a pandemic is kind of like what happens when we are exiting an aircraft. I think you will recognize what she means. Do you know that time when the wheels of the plane are touching the tarmac and there are some of us who jump up before it's even come to a halt and they've thrown open the compartments? Some of you in here might be those people. And there are those who sit. They know they want to get off the plane just as badly as the others, but they sit. Maybe they continue reading their book. They text. They talk really loud on their phone. They make faces with the toddler behind them. Whichever way you exit the aircraft, we are all going to the airport. We are all going to baggage claim, and we are all finding our way home. And once we get home, we're going to discover it's not quite the same as when we left. There's hand sanitizer in places that it never was before. There are masks in the car glove box and in drawers. And in the recycling bin, there is a lot of takeout containers. It's close enough to almost feel like it's the same, but there are substantial changes, and it will impact each of us differently. All of us having to navigate our new way in this new place, this new normal, with this residue of collective trauma, and those of you here with the company of the absence of your beloved. It's a lot. There's a lot of adjustment to make. So much has changed, and it will take time, and for each of us, it will take different time building on our strengths, adjusting to our weaknesses. For some things will be easy, and those exact same things will be almost impossible for others. We must make room for all of that human experience. The impossible and the easy, bringing compassion even when it might not make sense to us. Here we are, not quite out of the pandemic, getting through, and hopefully getting through with each other, and as of July 1, being able to really get through with each other's help in person. So I want to share this brief prayer with you, and I invite you to use it as a source of meditation or reflection or thought, however feels right to you. Spirit of life and love, we are getting through. Through what? This pandemic, to be sure. Yes, we are getting through this life, that too, but we are not getting through unscathed. Too much has already been lost. Too many beloveds lost. So not unscathed, but a whole kind of wholeness. A kind that only emerges from the going through it, the wrestling with it, from demanding something in exchange for what we lose, for those we have lost, for those whom we mourn today, and that is blessing, shaped by our sorrows and our joys, our failures and our triumphs, our loves and our losses. A blessing, shaped by these bodies, these minds, singing and dancing, praying and listening, weeping, and yes, laughing, by beauty that we admire and create together. A blessing. May we be a blessing to each other, to our communities, and the wide world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend, for your beautiful and consoling words. My name is Marisol Meza. I am the mental health counselor at the center. Everyone grieves differently. It's normal to go through a roller coaster of emotions after loss, full of ups and downs, emotions such as sadness, fear, shock, denial, anger, anxiety. Remember, you do not have to grieve alone. Here at the East Brunswick Senior Center, I offer individual counseling to our registered members. All you have to do is call to make an appointment for an in-person or phone session. Another place where you can talk about your feelings is in one of my many support groups. I offer a Hope and Healing support group, which will meet virtually next Tuesday at 11 a.m. And next month, we'll be meeting in person. Finally, I'd like to introduce Hannah Lee and Evelyn Chow of the Mockingbird Melody, who will perform our closing song titled See You Again.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you to Ms. Meza for introducing us. I am Hannah Lee, the president of Mockingbird Melody, and this is Evelyn, who is next year's president of Mockingbird Melody, and she plays the violin, and we'll be performing See You Again by Charlie Puth.
Much appreciation to Hannah and Evelyn for your heartfelt performances. My deepest gratitude to the families, members, and all who came today to pay tribute to our friends. That concludes our memorial.